I just want to talk about how unique this recession might be as well. So this is a graph of the money supply in the UK going back to the 60s. And you can't really make it out from there, but that red line back in the 60s was 20% of the green line. So 20% of the money supply existed as cash, essentially. Now, that's a totally different economy to do business in. Only 80% of the money supply has a matching debt under that system, and it's entirely possible for business to continue without the complications of loan defaults, because the 20% acts as quite a buffer. Now, almost overnight, when we invented computers and digital money, this 20% went down to 3%. And we're now in the situation where we have today, which is a totally different economy to try and do business in. There's only 3% of a cash buffer, and 97% of euros have a much higher debt to the banks when you take into account compound interest and so on. And loan defaults and complications of instability and so on are just a feature of the modern economy. Now, we have had a sort of 3% cash money supply since the 70s or so, and we feel what's kept the system functioning apparently well since then is this quite dramatic increase in the money supply. So in actual fact, the money supply has doubled about every 10 years, or it's quadrupled about every 20 years. And that's really quite a huge expansion. If you take out a loan in the 70s and over the course of the next 20 years the money supply quadruples, your loan can feel quite manageable. If you take out a loan today where it's not feasible that the money supply will quadruple over the next 20 years, you're really going to struggle with your loan. So it should be obvious from this graph that it's not feasible that we can expand the money supply by that sort of a rate for the foreseeable future. And as such, we would actually think that this is sort of the end of the road for this particular system of banking. Certainly the end of the useful line of this system of banking. As well as that, mortgages have always been able to increase in duration. So mortgages at one stage just took one income 5 years to repay. That increased and so on. Eventually two incomes got involved, and we're now at the point where it takes two incomes about 30 years to repay. So one way or another, we feel that this system just can't really go on, certainly can't go on smoothly anyway.